Hey everyone, and welcome to Talk ETFs, ETF.com's weekly video series. My guest this week is Matthew Tuttle, CEO and CIO of Tuttle Capital Management. Great to have you on the show, Matthew.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to start off by asking you about the enormous success of one of your single stock ETFs. This ETF has the ticker symbol MSTU and is tied to the company MicroStrategy. It recently neared the 800 million in assets under management mark. Why is this ETF taking off so quickly? It launched just a month ago.
Yeah, and we broke 800 million today. We're slightly below that as we're recording. It's been amazing. This is just it's one of those companies where, I think Michael Saylor is like the Elon Musk of crypto. A founder that's out there, talking about stuff that CEOs typically don't. He's got a real interesting corporate strategy, which is buy a bunch of Bitcoin and hold on to it. And, the people who like this stock are just rabid about it. It's funny, the Twitter algorithm, once you start clicking on stuff, it brings you more. So now I've been brought into the whole MicroStrategy, Twitter sphere. And I mean, these guys, I mortgage my house, I'm buying MicroStrategy. My daughter's entire college fund is MicroStrategy. It's just one of those names that is perfect for a 2X.
It's absolutely incredible. And of course, this is one of the most popular single stock ETFs on the market, but we've seen a number of others tied to, those kind of stocks with a lot of retail following, I would say. You have some others on the market as well, tied to NVIDIA and stocks like that. Can you tell us about some of the others that are seeing demand today?
Yeah, so MicroStrategy is now our largest. NVDX, which is 2X NVIDIA, is our second largest. Lots of great flows in that one. I mean, obviously the performance of that this year has been off the charts. And it's, again, another one of those names with a charismatic founder who's, out there, talking about his product, innovating, doing different things. And then our third biggest, 2X long Tesla. Great day in that one yesterday. Elon Musk, another one of those companies. And those are the ones we really like, where you've got, this charismatic entrepreneurial founder who cultivates this massive retail following.
Speaking of innovation, Matthew, you're a big innovator in the ETF space. So I want to get your opinion. How is the single stock ETF space going to evolve over time? Are we going to get to the point where we have a single stock ETF tied to all of the hot stocks in the stock market? And are we close to that already?
So I think it's going to be interesting. Everyone's going to have kind of an arms race for what's the next MicroStrategy. And, and the problem is you don't know. So, there's going to be a lot of stuff you launch that is just not going to really take off. And then you're going to hit it. There are going to be names where you think maybe in the future you launch it, it sits, and then one day it just explodes. So, I would guess all the other shops are kind of doing what I'm doing, is racking my brain and, what are those next names? So we do have a few that we're going to be launching, hopefully shortly. And, we hope one of those is going to be the next MicroStrategy, NVIDIA, Tesla.
How about the rest of your lineup? Obviously, you don't just have single stock ETFs. You got defense ETFs, you have an anti-ESG ETF, and you have a SPAC ETF. Can you tell us, what's really resonating with investors today?
So what I teach people about is trying to figure out what the current hot themes are in the market, but what are the next hot themes going to be in the market, and not fleeting things. What are going to be persistent themes? So for example, we just launched Guns, GUNZ, which is a self-defense ETF. And I think, with crime rates going up, people feeling unsafe. I've got a daughter in New York who just had to, run into a grocery store because some guy was out on the street hitting people. stuff like that, where, she's got a taser and mace. I got a kid in Chicago, he's got a taser and mace. You're going to see more and more demand for those products. We just launched EUAD, which is the only European defense stock ETF, because I think regardless of who wins the presidency, European countries are more and more going to be on their own for their own defense, and they're going to turn to their own companies. And as you said, we launched an anti-ESG ETF basically on the idea that companies that don't get bogged down in ESG and DEI and just focus on profits should do better at making money than companies that focus on a million other different things. So we're always trying to look for ideas like that.
Fantastic. Well, you gave us a ton of great insight, Matthew. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.